Which way will this referendum go? Let's bring in Ivan Eland for his prediction. He's a senior fellow and director of the Center on Peace and Liberty at the Independent Institute. So, Ivan, I have to ask you, which way do you think it will go? And also tell our viewers, what exactly is it that people are deciding?
Well, it's difficult to say what they're deciding because the question is very ambiguous that they're posing. And so we don't know if people will want autonomy. Do they want to join Russia? Do they want to stay with Ukraine? Do they want to become independent? There's 4 choices for you right there. So they claim that they're going to have another vote later on to decide the specific thing, but this is more vaguely worded. Do you want self-determination or something like that? So, and of course, there's more than one place voting. The other problem is it going to be free? They've done polls that show 70% of the people in this region may want to stay with the Ukraine. This is not like Crimea, where probably most of the people wanted to go with Russia. Although you have to question the Russians even there, because we have a sovereign system of sovereign countries, and there are many ethnic groups in different countries. And if we start ripping that all up to, have people secede, you have a lot of civil wars around the world. So that's why we have the sovereign nations. Now, if people do want self-determination, that's a good thing to some extent, but Russia did invade and annex Crimea, and that's the wrong way to go about, getting these types of things done.
But you haven't answered my question. Which way do you think this vote will go?
Well, it's hard to say if it's free. Like I said, the polls indicate that people in this region may want to stay with the Ukraine. What you're seeing is the activists want to go with Russia, but what does the silent majority, as Richard Nixon called it in the 70s, what are they thinking? Because they may be too afraid to say anything. So it's hard to say. Number one, is the vote going to be free? And number two, if it is free, I would say it might be going against it, but it's being thrown together very quickly. And nobody really wants it to happen. Putin says he doesn't want it to happen, but I'm not sure that he doesn't want it to happen.
I think it depends on what the outcome is for Putin.
Right, of course, yes.
So do you see this as sort of a turning point, compromise versus whether Ukraine slides further into chaos?
Well, I think the referendum could make it slide because it will divide the sides. You have these militants who obviously want the vote to turn out their way, and what if it doesn't? Or also you're putting the government of Ukraine in a difficult position because they have to be against what's being portrayed as a democratic process. Whether it's a free democratic process, we'll have to wait and see. But whenever you have rioting and fighting and potential civil war and people taking over buildings, you wonder if you can have a free vote because there's implied coercion by both sides. Is
there a chance the process could be fair and free?
I think I'm a little skeptical of that because of all the guns that are, and all the intimidation that's going on. So if the polls are right, 70% of the people don't want to leave Ukraine. If that's a secret poll, then it may be even worse because for the Russians, because some of those people are probably going to be afraid to say that they don't want to go with the militants, because the militants are the ones that are on the ground that are kind of controlling them.
So what do you think the impact of Kiev's so-called anti-terror operation will be on this referendum? Do you think during the voting process things will be peaceful? Do you think, what can we expect in the next several hours in the city of Luhansk and Donetsk where voting will begin? What will the situation be on the ground is what I'm asking.
Well, you could see more violence. I would think that the Ukraine would desist on these operations because it would only cause more people to vote for the Russians for some sort of separation or autonomy. I would think if Ukrainian forces are coming in there and trying to take back the buildings. So you may see a desist, the government desist during this time period, but you may see spontaneous rioting and civil war, groups going at it, because the elections can be polarizing. That's what happened in Iraq in 2005 when the U.S. was there. The elections were supposed to be done to
bring stability.
Yeah, stability, and it caused the opposite to happen. So.
All right, you will be watching it we will be watching it here as well. Thank you so much, Ivan Eland from Center on Peace and Liberty. We appreciate your take. Thank you so much.